Right, on today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at some of most of the films that I watched throughout the year, really. And this year, I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch a lot of stuff that went straight to streaming. I didn't watch a lot of the underground stuff. So most of this list is cinema viewings, really. And that's just because I hammered my Odeon Limitless card. I think I seen like 90 odd films, 90 odd visits to the cinema, and over 100 films because some of them were double viewings. So that's insane, man. I think next year I'm gonna try and watch more underground stuff and check out some of the streaming stuff because I feel like I've missed quite a bit. One of the films that I really wanted to see that I didn't get a chance to because it hasn't had a UK release yet is The Last Voyage of Demeter. I'm really interested in that. I've heard mixed reviews, but I just love the fact that they've made Dracula just a creature and not a handsome dude. Like Dracula's just he just looks disgusting in it. And I'm proper interested in that, but you can't rent it on Amazon or nothing yet in the UK, so I haven't had a chance to check that out, to be honest. And that's something I'm really, really looking forward to checking out. But the best thing about this year for horror for me wasn't the films that came out because I think it's been a very mid-average year. If I'm being honest, there's not too many great films. There's one or two that I really enjoyed that are fun. They're probably not great films though. And there's a few films that were genuinely great, I thought, but I think it's been quite a disappointing year for film. The best thing about this year for me was I got to see quite a lot of classics on the big screen. Now, there's a company called DMP Cinema, and they put screenings on of classic films, mostly double bills, and they are in Odeons all around the UK. This is the classics that I got to see this year: The Hills Have Eyes, The Evil Dead, Aliens, Return of the Jedi, The Wicker Man, The Burning, Eaten Alive, Hellraiser 1 and 2, The Exorcist, the director's cut, which was a shame, Child's Play, Return of the Living Dead, Christine, and Black Christmas. And I mean, the ones that were DMP screenings were Black Christmas, Christine, Hellraiser 1 and 2 was a double bill, Eaten Alive, and The Burning as a double bill. The Hills Have Eyes was a double bill with, I'm not sure if it was I Spit on Your Grave, but I didn't stay for the second film because I know I didn't like that really. So I just watched The Hills Have Eyes. So yeah, man, DMP Cinema, check them out because they put on some absolute belters. Oh, I've seen Halloween as well. Actually, I've just realised I've seen Halloween, but that was a DMP film screening, but the sound was shite on it. It was really bad. So that wasn't a great advert for them, to be honest, because it was like the dialogue was really low. So that wasn't a great viewing, to be honest, but I think that was just a technical difficulty because everything else I've seen has been spot on. And they've also got Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a 50th anniversary screening in January. It's a bit mad. It probably should be August, really, but they're doing the 50th anniversary screening in January. So next month, check out your Odeons because DMP Cinema are putting the original Texas Chainsaw. And if you haven't had a chance to see that, it's incredible, mate. It's absolutely mind-blowing. You need to get there and see it. So definitely check it out because, I mean, it's my favourite film of all time. But it's something everybody needs to see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the big screen. It's an incredible viewing. I've seen it like 3 times now, and it's just perfect, man. It's unbelievable. But yeah, let's get into the films that I actually watched that come out this year, and I'll just do a quick ranking. I'll just say if I liked it or not. I'm not gonna do a proper like top 5 or whatever because I honestly don't think. I think I've probably got a top 3 cemented, and then the rest is just filler. So I genuinely don't think I could make up a top 10 really, because it hasn't been a great year. Like I said, it has not been a vintage year for horror whatsoever. So, like I say, next year I'm going to try and watch a lot more of the stuff that hits streaming, and yeah, go from there. But yeah, let's get into the list anyway. Right, so I'll start off with one of my disappointments of the year, and it was only a disappointment of the year because I seen all the hype before I seen it, and it's When Evil Lurks. Now, that's most lists I've seen, that's been their 1 or 2 favourite film of the year, and it just didn't land at all for me, man. It wasn't the film at all that I wanted to see. The opening scene where you see the guy actually on the bed, like he looks disgusting. It did start off all right, but it just didn't work for me at all, man. Like I just didn't. I just don't see what everyone else sees. So that was quite a disappointment. And probably the worst film I seen in the cinema was It Lives Inside. Now, I say seen, I think I walked out 20 minutes before the end, and I do not walk out. I'm not a person who leaves the cinema, but that was absolutely atrocious. I just found it so dull. It's kind of like a possession film, and I think it's an Indian film. It's not an Indian film, but it's got an Indian director, Bishal Dutta, and yeah, for me, man, it just didn't work at all. I really, really wanted to like it, and there was aspects at the beginning that I was like, okay, I can deal with this, but the longer it went on, man, the worse it got, and it was just more like a teenage drama, really. It just wasn't like it wasn't what I wanted at all, really. So yeah, It Lives Inside was probably the worst film that I've seen. I also seen Knock at the Cabin, which first view when I just thought it was an alright M Night Shyamalan film. Yeah, I tried watching it again. It's pretty poor, to be honest. I did enjoy it the first time round though, but yeah, man, not for me. I also seen The Exorcist Believer, which I put a video on. Absolutely atrocious. In fact, you know what? It Lives Inside isn't the worst film that I've seen. Exorcist Believer is the worst film I've seen this year. It was pathetic on all grounds. It was embarrassingly bad. And I despise every choice that they made when Ellen Burstyn come onto the screen. Like, I just hated everything about that. And the fact that, spoilers, I mean, you should have seen it by now, but spoilers, the fact that they kill a kid at the end and it has no impact shows how little you give a shit about the characters, because one of them dies and you couldn't care less. That obviously that's meant to be the gut punch of the film, and it's just pathetic. It does nothing. It doesn't even move the needle because they've just undone any good work they've got. But like I said in my review, I did like the first 45 minutes when it was a missing persons like thriller. I thought that was cool, man. I thought it was really well shot. David Gordon Green obviously knows how to shoot a film. But yeah, I hate The Exorcist Believer, man. It was pathetic. The Nun 2 was better than The Nun 1. Still boring though. Yeah, The Nun 2, like I say, it was slightly better than the first one because the first one was really bad, I thought. But that character's got so much potential because she can be terrifying. And there's one moment where she's like part of the wall on the stairs and comes out the wall, and it's genuinely terrifying. And other than that, it's just middle of the road scares, man. It's exactly what you'd expect. You've got Insidious Red Door as well, which I think it was Lee Winnell. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson, horrendous director. Absolutely horrendous director. I'm not gonna lie. Any of these Conjuring universes, or I mean, obviously Insidious is in the Conjuring universe, but it's James Wan in it. Once he takes his hand off that and stops doing it, I personally write them off. So Conjuring 1 and 2 are fantastic, I think, and Insidious 1 and 2 are also fantastic. I also like, I think it's Annabelle Comes Home because it's kind of like a Goosebumps film. It's just like a big creature, like all the toys in the room come to life, and that's pretty cool. It wasn't great, but it just reminded me of a Goosebumps film, so that was quite fun. That universe, anything that James Wan has started that someone else has took over, I write off personally. It's not for me at all. I've seen Pearl as well. Pearl was quite a disappointment because although I didn't love X, I liked parts of X, and I adore Ty West as a filmmaker. Like House of the Devil and Innkeepers, and even The Sacrament to an extent. It's not as good as them two, but House of the Devil and Innkeepers specifically are modern masterpieces for me. House of the Devil is a genuine masterpiece, I think. So I'm not on the X and Pearl hype train that a lot of people are, and it's still sick that he's come back to horror though, because I love Ty West, like I say. So even though they didn't land for me, I'm more than happy to see Ty West directing horror, so I'll take that. Hell House Origins, I think it's the Carmichael Manor. That was fantastic, I thought. Genuine, like the first Hell House scared the shit out of me. Like, it got me really, really good. And as far as found footage goes, even though it's a bit played out and it's a tough genre to do now because there's so many, I still love it when it's done properly. And them Hell House films, when they are, because 2 and 3 are pretty poor, but 1 and Origins are like fantastic, and they're terrifying as well. I will say with Hell House though, specifically the Carmichael Manor, the build up is better than the payoff. So when the scares are just them little dummies moving around the house and the camera holds on them and they're not moving, that's when it scares the shit out of me. When it becomes a found footage film, like the shaky quick cuts and stuff, it does lose it. I'll be honest, it does lose it a bit for me. But the first hour of that Carmichael Manor before it proper kicks off is genuinely terrifying, and it got me quite a lot. So that was fantastic, I thought. Saw X. Saw X was, I say a disappointment, but I didn't really have any expectations because I only really like Saw 1 and Saw 3, I think. I'm not a massive Saw fan. I've watched them all, but I'm not the biggest fan of them, to be honest. So I say it's a disappointment, but it's not really a disappointment because I didn't really have too much invested in it, really. Unwelcome. Unwelcome was really fun. Weirdly enough, the ending was better than the lead up, which doesn't happen often for me. Usually films don't stick the landing with the ending, but I wanted, because it's like a little folk horror about something living at the bottom of the garden, and I just presumed it was going to be like a little creature feature, and it's not. It's more like ominous and like you don't really know what's happening. It's got really good folky vibes. Like I really like the setting and stuff, but then these little gnomes come to life at the end of it, and it becomes like a silly creature feature, and that's what I thought it was. Because I actually did see the trailer for that one. 45 minutes in, like you still hadn't seen nothing, and it was good folky vibes, like I say, but other than that, it was like, come on, when's this getting going? And then when it gets going, it gets silly, and it was just loads of fun. I really did enjoy Unwelcome, to be honest. And then you've got Five Nights at Freddy's, which wasn't a film made for me whatsoever. I didn't play the game. I'm not 12. Like, it's not for me. And I've got a little nephew, and he's buzzing with it. He's a big fan of the games, and he's just getting into horror. I think it's a perfect gateway to horror. So while it's not for me, I appreciate that's going to be somebody's gateway into horror, and that's a good thing, man. Whether you enjoy them films or not, that's a very good thing. And I do think Matthew Lillard was okay in it as well. He was all right. I seen Beau is Afraid, and Beau is Afraid was probably my disappointment of the year because I adore Midsummer and I adore Hereditary, and I didn't know what Beau is Afraid was. I didn't see a trailer or nothing because I do stay away from trailers. And with it being Ari Aster, I just presumed it was going to be a messed up horror film. It's not. It's just a weird, trippy film. And the first half an hour is some of the most stressful, agitating viewing I've ever been through. Like I was so annoyed. I was just like I was uncomfortable watching it, and that can be a good thing if something good comes after it, but it didn't. I will say what I've seen most people's switching point of when it went bad, like he goes to the woods and somebody else acts out a play. That's when I liked the film, to be honest. That little play in the woods was great, I thought. So I think I tend to fall on the other side to most people with Beau is Afraid. Like I hated the beginning, and the ending was okay, but all in all, man, it was 3 hours. It didn't no definitely didn't need to be 3 hours. Like that was nonsense, and it just didn't stick with me at all. And I was quite disappointed because like I say, I'm a big Ari Aster fan. That was quite disappointing, really. Megan, I had no expectation whatsoever for Megan. I had a lot of fun with Megan. Megan was way better than I thought it had any right to be. It wasn't groundbreaking by any means, but it was just fun. It was a lot of fun. Cocaine Bear, again, didn't break the mold. Wasn't groundbreaking, but I loved Cocaine Bear. I thought it was loads of fun, man. And then we have It's a Wonderful Knife. Absolute garbage. Like I'm not Justin Long's biggest fan anyway, but it was absolute garbage. I thought I didn't get it at all. I hate time travel films as well. So obviously I haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life either. So obviously to play on that, and I know that's a time travel film now. So yeah, not for me whatsoever. The kills were very middle of the road, uninteresting. Justin Long was irritating as he usually is. Yeah, not for me at all. Sisu. Sisu was fantastic. Such a fun film. Really enjoyed the atmosphere of Sisu and just how intimidating and like how much screen presence Sisu had. I thought it was a great watch, to be honest. The Boogeyman. The Boogeyman is a Stephen King adaptation. And again, I just presumed it was going to be another Conjuring Insidious ripoff. I think it was a bit better than that, to be honest. The Barbie movie, that was just great, wasn't it? Let's be honest, that was just fantastic. And also Oppenheimer. While I'll never watch Oppenheimer again in my life, and I can't imagine watching that at home because it was such a. I don't know if it was cinematic in the way it was shot, but I think the soundscape was just outstanding. And in your house, unless you've got a sick setup, obviously, I just can't imagine that plays very well. Like I say, I'll probably never watch Oppenheimer again in my life, but it was it was outstanding. It was just incredible. I thought the Haunted Mansion, massive disappointment. But I haven't been on the ride. I haven't been to Disney. I do like the Haunted Mansion, but from what I've seen, there was just loads of little Easter eggs and stuff that I probably went over my head because I haven't been on the ride. So maybe it just wasn't for me. But yeah, I was quite disappointed in the Haunted Mansion. Really, Shin Ultraman, fantastic, such a fun kaiju film. I really loved Shin Ultraman. I thought it was fantastic, to be honest. John Wick 4, absolutely incredible, mind blowing film. There's a scene where he's just going through the top of the house. It's a bird's eye view of the whole house, and it's going from room to room. That shot was phenomenal. John Wick 4 was like, I just want to watch more John Wick, and there's like they're all very similar. It's just an action film, and I can't wait to see more John Wick. So I'm all for John Wick 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll watch them all. Like, I thought it was fantastic, to be honest. Turtles Mutant Mayhem, absolutely perfect. That was my Into the Spider Verse, to be honest. I'm a massive Turtles fan anyway. The original cartoon and the comics and stuff. So I just loved seeing the Turtles on the big screen, and with that hip hop soundtrack, it was just fantastic. I thought Seth Rogen absolutely smashed it. And yeah, like I say, that was my Into the Spider Verse, because I do like Spider Verse, but I'm not a massive Spider Man fan, so I just like the animation and I like it. But that just the Turtles just resonated with me so much more. And yeah, man, I've watched that a few times now, and it's unbelievable. It's such a good film. I love Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And then next up we have The Pope's Exorcist. Absolute crap, really. Absolute crap. There's a funny scene though. I think it's like, what I do like about it is it doesn't take itself too seriously. The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen is Russell Crowe riding from Spain to Italy on a Vespa with no helmet. Is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard a film try and convince me happened. Ridiculous. He just pops over some hill on his way to an abbey, a haunted abbey, obviously, because, it's always a haunted abbey. And he's got his little pope get up on with no helmet on a Vespa. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, wasn't for me, really. Evil Dead Rise. Now, Evil Dead Rise, I really liked Evil Dead Rise. I seen it twice in the pictures, and then I watched it at home, and it's less convincing. It seems to be one of them films that every time I've seen it, I've liked it a little bit less, which is a shame, really, man, because I was hyped for it, and I seen it was a Spot of Plastic review of the score, and Liam said it was like a child-friendly Evil Dead, and I didn't realize how little gore you actually see for an Evil Dead film. And until he said that, I hadn't noticed it. And then once he said that, I rewatched it, and you see nothing, man. It's like a it's like a PG-13 Evil Dead film. I know that's an American term, but it seems to be, I like it less and less. But there is enough there, man. I did have a lot of fun with it, and it's still fine. It really is. Cobweb. Cobweb was a film I knew nothing about. I was looking for something to see, and I seen it was a horror film, so I went to see it. I didn't see a trailer. I'd barely seen a poster, and it was mismarketed so much because I think it was out in September, and it should have been out around the week of Halloween because it's got such a good Halloween aesthetic. Like, he's got a pumpkin patch in his back garden. Cobweb is fantastic. It's got Lizzie Kaplan as the mum, and the dad is the guy from Homeland. Anthony Starr is the dad, and the first hour of Cobweb blew me away. The payoff isn't that great, but Lizzie Kaplan is fantastic. She plays the mum. There's a dark undertone to the whole family, really, but Anthony Starr is terrifying as the dad. Like, there's no undertone. He plays it as straight as, like, he's just, you know something's off with him. Lizzie Kaplan, you kind of get the feeling that she's just going along with whatever he says. So she's kind of, it's almost like she's in an abusive relationship, really. Cobweb, it seems to have just slipped under the radar because it come out in September when it should have been out in October. But I'm guessing because of The Exorcist, The Exorcist would have just swallowed that up, I reckon. Which, it's 10 times the film The Exorcist Believer was, because that was shite, obviously. But yeah, Cobweb was a surprise, man. I really enjoyed Cobweb. Talk to Me, fantastic. Probably my third favourite horror film of the year. I thought it was incredible, to be honest. I had a lot of fun. But also, there was, like, the dynamic between the family drama side of it was just fantastic. And I'm a big A24 fan anyway, but Talk to Me was great, I thought. Then we'll go with Scream 6. Scream 6, even though the ending is a bit daft, most Scream films other than Scream 1, the ending is daft though. I've got no problem with the payoff not being great, because all I want out of a Scream film is good Ghostface moments, and Scream 6 has got some of my favourite Ghostface moments, like Ghostface in the bodega in New York is horrific, and Ghostface on the train or in the subway was terrifying. That's the most tense I've seen Ghostface in a Scream film. Even though the ending was a bit daft, and is it Dermot Gallagher? I think it is, isn't it? Dermot Mulroney, right? Not Dermot Gallagher. He's an ex-Prem ref. Dermot Mulroney. He was so over the top, especially at that ending. He was chaos, mate. Absolute chaos. But like I say, that's not what I watch Scream for. I want good kills, but good Ghostface moments, and some characters to like. And I think especially Chad and Mindy, both of them were way more likable this time than Scream 5, because Scream 5 was quite a problem for me as well. Scream 5 I liked in the pictures somewhat, and then the more I watch it, the less I like it. Like, that film's dropped massively. But Scream 6 was great, and Samara Weaving in the opening scene, that was unbelievable, as well as Jason as well. That was just great, man. So yeah, I was just a massive fan of Scream 6. Scream 6 was exactly what it should have been, and it's a proper shame about Scream 7, because obviously that's basically cancelled now. And yeah, just a proper shame really about that, because I was looking forward to seeing where that went, because yeah, man, it was in good hands. I thought it was in very, very good hands. And then we'll go with Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was probably my favourite horror film of the year, just purely for how 90s it was. It was just a 90s slasher. Eli Roth nailed that perfectly. And I'm not Eli Roth's biggest fan, to be honest, but Thanksgiving was everything it needed to be. I was so excited to see that. Well, everyone was, because it's obviously the Grindhouse trailer, and I think it was outstanding. I thought it was fantastic, to be honest. Yeah, so Thanksgiving, I was all for, to be honest. Really, really enjoyed Thanksgiving. Last up, Godzilla Minus One. Absolute masterpiece. Incredible. Probably my favourite film of the year. The Godzilla moments are unbelievable in it. Like, I love the design of Godzilla. They've gone back to big fat leg Godzilla, and sometimes he looks a bit dopey, and that's such a charming throwback to the early Godzilla, because obviously it's just a guy in a suit, and sometimes he's got that look about him. And I loved Shin Godzilla, but Godzilla Minus One was phenomenal. The creature moments were fantastic, but the reason it was so good was the storyline with the characters, because the humans in Godzilla, usually I just want to see Godzilla smashing up a city, fighting with another kaiju monster, like whatever Godzilla's doing. Usually it's Godzilla messing shit up is what you go to watch a Godzilla film for. But they made Godzilla terrifying. Like that opening scene where he's on that island and you first see Godzilla, he's so scary. Like such a scary presence. He's not messing around. Like he's just a force, an absolute force. And the fact they put that back into Godzilla was fantastic. Godzilla Minus One, man, was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Everything about it was just perfect. The creature design is amazing. The creature moments are amazing. He's terrifying. The human element is fantastic. Some of the best human elements of a Godzilla film I've ever seen. Yeah, it's just, if you haven't seen Godzilla Minus One yet, go and see it, because it's honestly, it deserves everything it's getting. It's getting quite a lot of good reviews and plaudits anyway, but it deserves everything it's getting, because it's a masterpiece, man. It's incredible. Probably the best Godzilla film I've ever seen. It's fantastic, man. And yeah, I think that is everything that I seen in the cinema. Right, so that was pretty much everything I watched throughout the year, which there's still a few films that I didn't add to this list, but yeah, man, there was way too many cinema visits. I think I need to make some time to watch some of the stuff that hits streaming and some of the more underground stuff, because I usually get to quite a lot of the new releases, but for some reason, man, I just bladdered that Odeon Limitless card and just spent a lot of time in the pictures. And as fun as that is, man, I think I missed out on some good stuff. Although I've got to be honest, I haven't heard of that much great stuff, so I don't know what I've missed out on really. So if you want to pop in the comments what I should have been watching this year, give me a little list. That would be massively appreciated, so I can catch up on some of the good stuff that I've missed. But nice one for checking the video out. If you did enjoy it, like it, subscribe to the channel and share it around. That would be massively appreciated. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.